Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast. Hey there, Kate.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Okay, guys, we have something special for you this week. This is actually something that is a leftover, if you will. Yes.
I like that.
Taking something that we created last year and spread across 5 separate days of fun and excitement and turning it into one excellent episode.
And this is we're calling like a copywriter's holiday survival kit, if you will, for all the questions that come up at your holiday dinner that you'd probably rather not answer, but they're family, friends, you are on the spot. We've got answers for you, friends.
Yeah, from your uncles and your aunts, your grandparents, your nieces and nephews. They've all got questions, and for your friends, we have answers. So enjoy this very tasty leftover feast from last year. It's going to be just as delicious today as it was last year. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Okay, guys, we have something very special for you today. If you are in the United States, and I guess even if you're not in the United States, on Thursday, tomorrow, we are celebrating Thanksgiving for those who celebrate and those who get together with family and eat a whole bunch and have to talk to family members that you maybe really only talk to once a year. So what we're bringing to you is an auditory and visual feast for your Thanksgiving. And what we're going to give
travel,
you,
quite frankly. So if you're stuck in traffic, this is great.
Right.
You've got lots of things to listen to.
Listen to it while you're assembling the stuffing, while you're mashing the potatoes, while you're pumpkining the pie. What we have prepared for you is answers to 5 questions you're going to get from relatives this holiday season. Certainly when you're sitting around the Thanksgiving table and your Uncle Phil has questions for you, like, for example, episode 1, let's dig in. When Uncle Phil says, "What do you do for a living again?" So let's dig into it. We have 5 mini episodes for you. Here's our first one, answering Uncle Phil. When he says, what do you do for a living again? Kate, how do you answer that?
You just stare at him blankly. Just kidding.
Pretend I'm Uncle Phil. How would you answer me as Uncle Phil?
Well, typically, and I'm using this to frame it because this just happened to be about a month ago where I said, "Oh, I'm a copywriter," and I don't recommend that being your answer. So I'm going to start there of like, don't just say, "Oh, I'm a copywriter," because most people don't know what that is. And if you're in the situation like I was, I had to wait, I don't know, a good 7 minutes. It felt like it was probably only a minute and a half or so of someone talking to me about someone else they know who's a copywriter within who's in a legal profession. And so now the conversation goes down this 5 to 10 minute derailment, and I have to get them back on course to say, "Oh no, I'm a copywriter in advertising." So
they think it's RIGHT,
correct,
not WRITER. Yes.
So your response should not be that. I'm starting there because that would be the easy thing to just say what it is that you do. But in our case, I highly, highly, highly recommend saying something like, "Oh, I'm a copywriter," which is, and not ending there, and writer for marketing or advertising. And what we do is connect people who have a challenge or a
want or a need.
Want or a need. Thank you. Clearly, I don't describe what I do a lot.
We'll go to Thanksgiving together. Yes. We'll sit next to each other.
I'll have Nikki tell you what I do. Thanks. People who have a challenge or a want or a need with the right solution for that want or need. And that's usually where I then end my thing. And I'm sure more questions will come up after that. But that's kind of an easy place to start and to avoid the confusion and the very awkwardness of having to try to interrupt someone and say, "It's not a copywriter. I'm not in the legal profession."
My friend Anne was like, "Oh, are you the person who draws the circle around the little R at the end of words?" Obviously, she was joking, but yeah, as popular as this career is, and for as many people as are in it, and for as big as Mad Men was when it was out, people still don't know what a copywriter is. So yeah. Let them know that you're a marketing advertising writer. And you can also give them examples. Say, "Hey, websites, emails, billboards, banner ads, somebody writes all of that. The packaging on the back of this stovetop stuffing," if indeed your family does stovetop stuffing. We make ours from scratch. No judgment either way. The package on the back of this stovetop stuffing, the writing there, that's copywriting. That can help people just to get a good sense of what it is you do. You can talk a little bit about who you work with and this fabulous program that you are training in that has this very helpful podcast for your auditory and visual feasting. Here we are answering the questions you are going to get around the Thanksgiving table from your possibly well-meaning, possibly not well-meaning friends and family.
What's your family like? Let's talk about that.
I know, really. My family was actually
That's
fabulous.
great. Yeah.
I know that yours is too. Not all of us
Most
are
of
quite
it.
so lucky. For example, let's say your sister-in-law, Kelsey, says to you, but I've heard that freelancing is really, really risky. Are you sure that this is something that's a good idea for you to do?
My college roommate did it and she lasted about 5 days. And really, it was just code word for her being unemployed.
Oh, ouch, sister-in-law Kelsey.
Ouch.
Ouch, ouch. How are we going to answer sister-in-law Kelsey?
We're going to say, actually, freelancing is much safer than full-time employment because with freelancing, you have multiple clients and your eggs are in multiple baskets. So if one business does do well, one client moves on, you want to leave a client even, I want to leave a client, I can do that. And I still have 70, 80, 90% of my income, and I'm not as impacted as I would be if I worked full-time in a business and can't get raises whenever I want, can't control my rates, can't control my time off. It's actually very liberating to be a freelancer.
Take that, Kelsey. Now, what if she comes back with saying, yeah, but aren't there like lots of feast or famine? Isn't there like a lot of
That's
dry
where you say,
spells?
oh, mom, do you need help with the stuffing? Just kidding. And you go grab a glass of wine.
You get some wine. But what you could say to Kelsey is that absolutely, I know that a lot of freelancers do have that feast or famine income, that dry spells. Mostly that's because most freelancers don't actually have a system for going out and finding clients and landing clients. A lot of freelancers rely on those job bidding sites or rely on referrals. And unfortunately, when you do that, you're putting the control of your income in other people's hands. But when you have a system for outreach that's very predictable and very reliable, then you're actually in control and you can have as much and many opportunities as you want and as many clients as you want. Or say you want to take a vacation, go to the Maldives because you make so much money as a copywriter. You could just dial that down for a little while.
Ooh, I like throwing them in Maldives. Just
yeah. Kelsey's always wanted to go to the Maldives.
You could also just say too, if you want to, keep it short and sweet of just, freelancing's like any other skill. You have to learn how to do it. And I've learned how to run a business as a freelancer. Most people just jump right in without training as a freelancer. And that's why they don't find success because they just cross their fingers and wish and hope that it'll work out. And that's not actually how you run a successful freelance business.
Well,
I like using the word business with it, especially because people think of freelancing. They don't understand that it is, you are a solo solo proprietor, effectively. You are running a business as a freelancer. You're not just, you're doing work, but it's not, I think people downplay it or kind of think of the word freelance as, again, code for, oh, you're just between jobs and unemployed versus
everybody. I think that's definitely much more. It used to be much more so, but I do agree that I think that people think that you can't make a full-time income as a freelancer.
I also think people think of freelancing though too. There's just so many misconceptions around it, and that being one of them. And people could have multiple of these misconceptions about it, not just one. And I think, especially as more and more people, so much of the people are freelancing in one form or another in the United States. It's millions and millions of people now. I forget what percentage of the workforce we've definitely talked about it before, but
massive. It's close to 50%.
If you want,
50%, but it's close.
Grab that stat if you want to throw stats and have them locked and loaded for family about the percentage of people that are freelancing now. Hey, I'm in good company. But I think a lot of the freelancers, people think of gig work. So, for example, Uber driving, Lyft driving, food delivery services, those types of things, which certainly fall under it. But that's just one piece of the freelance puzzle. And so I think people can have all sorts of misconceptions and just really no idea of what it is. So yeah, there's certainly a lot of education to be done here.
So take that, Kelsey. Okay, that's question number 2. By the way, we're saying visual and auditory in case you didn't know. If you're listening to the podcast, we also put these episodes on YouTube. And of course, if you are watching on YouTube, we also put these out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of your standard podcasty platforms. So you have options to consume this Thanksgiving feast. But here we are on episode
You can get
3.
seconds if you
can
listened.
get
You can go watch it and get
Love
a
it.
second helping.
Love an extended metaphor. Excellent. So here's what we're dealing with next. A conversation with Grandpa. Grandpa Stan in this case, because Kate and I just discovered that we both have Grandpa Stans. What are the chances? We're relatively confident they're not the same person. We haven't checked pictures
I like
yet.
it. Relatively. A shared relative.
Oh, the puns and the metaphors. So Grandpa Stan says, yeah, but you're not making any money, right? Writers don't make any money. How much money are you making? So what do we say to Grandpa Stan?
This is legit a question my Grandpa Stan would ask, by the way.
How would you answer it?
Quite frankly, I'd be like, yep, I'm doing just fine. That's what I would tell my grandfather. But if you want to provide more of again, money, it's personal finance for a reason. Mm-hmm. You can give as much or as little as you want in this situation. Me, with my actual Grandpa Stan, be like, I'm doing just fine, Grandpa. Thanks for asking. And call it a day. But if you want to, kind of educate people of like, hey, yeah, writers can actually make great money, you could get into it and say, yeah, I'm doing actually quite well because, unlike other writing professions like journalism or even content writing, copywriters who you might have to explain what copywriting is to Grandpa Stan again, even if you've done it before, and just say, as copywriters, though, we actually make a great living because our services are so valuable to businesses. We directly help contribute to sales within an organization. And so our work is extremely valued.
Exactly. It's a specialized skill that directly tracks to revenue, and therefore businesses are willing to pay us very well for this. And if they're like, well, how much? You can say, well, potentially 6 figures. Let me direct you to this episode of the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast.
Ooh, that's my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to get into it? Just pass them off to us and we'll...
Yeah, right. We'll talk to them.
Text them right there. If you get your phone with you, oh, hey, let me actually send you this. If you want to learn more, I'll send you this link. And then that way,
I actually anticipate you having to pull it up on your own phone, get your earbuds and give them to Grandpa Stan.
Correct.
Maybe actually put them into his ears and get it started. But then, if you do it on single speed, you don't have to talk to Grandpa Stan for half hour, maybe.
Yeah. Depending on the episode. Choose your episodes wisely. You can
depending on your
keep all your relatives occupied.
Exactly.
We got you. We've got you.
Depending on your relationships with your relatives. Again, if you want to chat with Grandpa Stan, chat with him. If you need a little bit of time, pop in the earbuds and let him listen to a podcast.
Although my Grandpa Stan might not be able to hear. You might have to put up the volume and
crank it up.
He may still have questions.
That's what we're here for. We are discussing when your nephew, Tyler, we played with names a little bit. We're looking at Chad. We're looking at Brad. Brad.
Don't come at us in the comments about name choices.
Yeah, we just randomly chose names. We decided to go with Tyler. When Tyler says, but isn't AI going to completely destroy your career? First of all,
back off,
get off
Tyler.
Talking to adults like that. Yeah. Where's your mother? Where's your father? Go back to the kids' table. Where's your sister? Go back to the kids' table. Go watch a cartoon. It could be an answer, but let's say Tyler. That would probably be my answer. Can you tell that I don't have a sister-in-law? I don't have nieces or nephews. I don't have to deal with this.
My nephew is an infant. So.
Your nephew is an infant. So if he did ask this,
it'd be actually really impressive, first and foremost.
Very interesting. The question itself would be the least interesting part.
Yes.
But let's say you did have a nephew named Tyler, I'm imagining a precocious 12-year-old. And he asked it in front of a bunch of different people. So you do it would behoove you to answer Tyler so that everybody else can hear the answer as well.
And maybe he's genuinely concerned for you. Maybe he said it, his tone was less destroy your job and more just, oh, hey, are you worried about AI?
That's a great point.
A lot of these questions. Well, I think
I should give Tyler the benefit of the doubt. You're right.
For all these episodes, I think we hear these questions, and because we hear them so often and they can come with that layer of like not well-intentioned, I think it's easy to get our defenses up and be like, well, what do you know?
This
all
is
these
helpful, Kate.
questions.
I think you're
Yeah,
really
well,
healing my relationship with Tyler, Kelsey,
I'm glad.
Grandpa Stan, and Uncle Phil.
That's what Thanksgiving is all about, Nikki.
You really brought us together.
Yeah.
And so how are you going to answer this question to well-meaning Tyler?
I'm going to say, well, Tyler, AI is going to be, and already is, a very, very helpful tool. But as we saw over the past year, companies that tried to use AI to actually serve their copywriting needs, it didn't work out. You still need a human putting something good into the AI to get anything of value out. And even then, you need a human at the back end to probably finesse it even more. And quite frankly, it's a great brainstorming tool. It's a great research tool, but it is not a great writing tool. It can write, content and spit out, regurgitate what's already exists on the internet. But if you're trying to create something new and create something unique, AI is not the tool for you. So it has its place, but it's not. I'm not worried about my job, Tyler. Thank you for asking them. Thank you for your concern.
And Tyler, writing.
Go get me some more mashed potatoes, Tyler.
Get me some mashed potatoes, Tyler. And Tyler, writing is really only a portion of what a copywriter does. There's also a lot of strategy, a lot of collaboration with clients. Sometimes clients come to me and want me to write a project for them. And over the course of talking, we actually discovered that that's not the right project to start with. We should start with something else. Or maybe the direction they were thinking of going is not actually a direction that's going to resonate with their target audience. Or maybe the direction they were going to send people from that project, or where they were taking people, where people were coming forward that would go to that project, doesn't make a lot of sense. So Tyler, I absolutely get your point about AI, but writing is really only a very small part of what we do. And AI can't fundamentally, like Kate was saying, can't fundamentally create something new. And it can't collaborate with clients. It can't strategize with them. It can't give them feedback. It can't partner with them. And that's also part of, to your question, Grandpa Stan, part of what makes us so valuable and why companies are willing to pay us so much, because it's not just about sitting down and putting words on a page. There's a lot of creativity and strategy involved.
And quite frankly, Tyler might have tuned out and stopped listening after you started explaining to him that AI can't solve all of his problems because, he might be thinking about the essay that's due the Monday following Thanksgiving, and he was hoping AI was going to churn out his response to what he's very, very grateful for, and realized, he's going to do some little soul searching to come up with those 5x5 essay paragraphs.
You can do it, Tyler. You can do it. Okay. We are wrapping up we're going around the table, wrapping up our conversations with our family members who are asking us sometimes genuinely curious questions, maybe sometimes a little bit intrusive, really depends on your family members, but we are here to provide you with the answers to all of these questions that you are going to get around the Thanksgiving table. And if you're not seeing family this Thanksgiving, maybe it's a Friendsgiving for you.
Celebrating Thanksgiving.
Save it for when you see them next.
Yeah, or when
whatever
anyone
holiday
asks these questions, because they come up.
They're going to come up. They're going to come up. And our Canadian friends, I know that your Thanksgiving is much earlier, but you can save this for next
and whatever
October,
December holidays you might be celebrating, or New Year.
Exactly.
There's a lot we're just entering holiday season, so get ready.
So here's the final question. Now that your Uncle Phil, your Grandpa Stan, your sister-in-law Kelsey, your nephew Tyler, now that they all understand.
Good memory on the family, by the way.
No, wow.
It's easy to forget family names,
especially
made up family names.
These people don't exist.
No.
Yes. Now that you've had the conversation with all of them and they're like, wow, this copywriting thing, it seems like a pretty good deal. They're sold on copywriting. Well, in comes Cousin Diane. And Cousin Diane,
she's been waiting for her opening.
So her question to you is, oh my gosh, that sounds so amazing. You have such a great job. I always knew you were so talented. You have always been such a good writer. Since you're now doing it professionally, I hate writing. I'm so bad at it. Since you are now doing it professionally, could you write my resume for me? Insert also write my cover letter for me. Could you write this email to my boss? Maybe she owns a business and she wants
maybe
to know if you
Aunt
could
Barbara
write her
across the
brochure.
table is like, oh yeah, if you're writing Diane's resume, I would love a flyer for this sale I've got coming up for Black Friday, which is the day after Thanksgiving.
She's a little behind.
Actually, well,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Maybe somebody else wants some help with
suddenly
PTA
the whole table's
promo.
asking, oh yeah, and voices rise up and you're like, ah, projects.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So here's the first thing you need to know before we even give you a response, because we'll give you some couple of options. You don't have to do anything for free.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
don't have to do anything for free. I know that sometimes we not sometimes, but I know that because we love our family members, we love our friends, it can be very tempting to do things for free. And certainly you can if you want to, but you don't have to.
Mhm.
Remember that this is your career, and the time that you spend working on a project for free for a family member or a friend is time that you could be spending working on a project for a client who pays you and pays you a lot of money.
Mhm.
So, the first part, if you're thinking, I don't actually want to do this,
Perfect. Or
for
if because you don't wanna do it because you don't wanna mix family and business and friends a bit, which is
Mhm,
totally also valid as well.
mhm. Yeah, so how would you say that, Kate, if you don't wanna mix family and what would you say there? Because I have my answer. Well,
Oh, do
here's what
you?
I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's what I would say. If you just didn't wanna do it for free, uh, and it's really the free
Mhm.
element,
The free up,
you
yeah.
say, "Oh my gosh, absolutely. Why don't you let me know what the project entails a little bit more, send me over some details, and then I'll send you over a quote for
Mhm.
how I could for how much I would charge for that." That's probably gonna shut a lot of people
Yep.
down.
Yep.
Yeah, and if they said, "Oh, I was kind of hoping that maybe you could give me, like, a discount or maybe even do it for free because, like, I really need help with this," you say, I totally understand. But, the thing is that this is my career and I do this professionally and companies pay me a lot to do this. And I'm sure you can understand that the time that I spend working on this for you is the time that I'm not spending working on my own business and building my own career. And I respect you as a professional and I know you respect me as a professional.
Mhm. I would say something even and put your own spin on it.
Mhm.
For me, it would just be I totally wish I could do that, but until I win the lottery, I just don't have hours in my day that I can work for free.
Oh, that's good. Good. I
Mhm.
like that a lot. That's
Just
really good.
injecting for me, it's I'd wanna relate to that. Go ahead.
The thing is that it's, I actually have a wonderful family and friends. I
Mhm.
just don't want to do the kind of work that family and friends, because it is almost always is, can you help me write my resume? Can you help me write my cover
True,
letter?
and
Can
if you
you
don't
help
wanna
me
do
do
that,
like,
yeah.
I never want to do that.
Well,
So I
that's a great
really like
point. You could
yeah.
answer that with the resume of like, "Hey, actually, resume writing is a whole other specialty. I can connect you with someone I know who does that if you'd like."
Mhm,
And so for CCA students, you could always put in the group, "Hey, I have someone who was looking for help writing a resume. Is anyone in the group want to do that?"
mhm,
And I'm sure there's
mhm.
several people that kind of offer that service in addition
Oh, that's
to
a good
copywriting.
idea. Yeah. Well, or the, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I don't have time to do it, but if you're
Hmm.
interested in hiring somebody else to do it, I can see if I can connect you with someone. That's another like very simple way to say it.
And
Mhm,
that's a good way to say it too. If you don't want to do work just because you're like, I don't want to mix family friends and like that kind of, what if I do this project for cousin Diane, but then, she's mad that I didn't deliver the right thing. And that's cruddy, but that can be a situation that can happen. I
mhm,
think that's a great way to say, oh, hey, I actually don't have time to do this, but I'm happy to connect you with someone that can. Alternatively, you can just be transparent with them and say, hey, actually, I don't do work with family and friends. I've just made it a policy in my business that I've kept to because I've had, some you don't even have to say there's an end of story. You've made it a policy in your business.
mhm,
Um,
mhm.
and
And
go
then
from
again,
there.
you can say like, but I might be able to connect you with somebody
Mm-hmm.
else that you could hire to do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if they were hoping to get it for free, that might just shut them down anyway.
Mm-hmm. But then if you want to do the work, personally, me, I would say, hey, I would love to talk about this more, but I just, you know what? It's the holidays and I'm finally taking a break from my business. Can we touch base on Monday? I'll shoot you an email. And if you have their email, great. If you need to get their email, give them your email to send, put the onus on them to reach out to you.
Mm,
That's the
mhm.
direction I would go.
That's the one change I would make is
Yep.
Diane, you email me. Don't
Yep.
chase Diane down.
Yep.
You're doing her a
Send
favor.
me the details of the project. I'd love to connect more. I'll check my email when I'm back in the office on whatever day you're back in the office. But for me, the holidays, anytime I'm taking an actual break from work, I want it to be an actual break from work. So like even answering and fielding questions about my work is just, I don't want to do this. So that's perfectly acceptable too. When people raise these questions at all, to just be like, I really don't want to talk about work. But again, here's the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast. If you want to learn more about what copywriting is and what copywriters do and how much they can make,
we've got you. Here you go. It's an auditory and visual feast all year long.
All year long.
Yeah. But yeah, remember that it's when it comes to any client, whether it's friends, family, or whether it's a business, you don't have to take any work that you don't want to do. You also don't have to take any rates. Exactly. You don't have to justify, and you don't have to take any rates that you don't want. If you do want to work with friends and family, and certainly if you want to do it for free, okay, I don't recommend it, but okay. Or if you want to give them a friends and family discount, okay, just make sure you're really clear on the parameters, just like you would be with a business client, right? It's not just write whatever, here, we're going to start here and then just see how big the project gets. No, if you're helping cousin Diane with her cover letter and you're doing it for $200, then it's the cover letter. You're going to make sure that you're really clear on it. You're going to do it just like any other project. You want a creative brief. You want to know who this cover letter is going to. You want to know what elements you want to highlight about cousin Diane, who's a fabulous person, I'm sure, in this cover letter. But you want to take this project seriously, just like you would take any other project seriously. And again, as you're digging into this, you're thinking about filling out a creative brief and writing this. If you're thinking, whoa, I don't know if I want to go through all that with Diane, then maybe you don't. Maybe you don't.
The other thing is too, if you're thinking, well, I'm just starting out, I would love, cousin Diane has a project for me. Heck yeah, I get a portfolio piece and awesome. You don't have to start with free, even if you're tempted to go with free out the gate. You can say, hey, email me the details. Again, push the conversation to the following week. Come into the CCA Facebook group. And if you're like, well, we've got you. Follow up, ask questions to us. We'll help you. And then when she reaches out with the details, say, okay, here's the price. And if she comes back and say, oh, I was hoping you would do it for free, or here's what my budget is, negotiate with, at that point. It's just a conversation. It's the start of a conversation. So even if you're willing to do it for free, you don't have to go out the gate doing it for free, because what you are doing, your time is valuable. It's going to take you time. It's going to take you energy. And that time and energy is taking you away from other things that you could be doing to grow your business. Paid clients, or creating your portfolio, which put a dollar sign to your time, because you deserve it. Everything you're doing has value. So learning to value yourself from the get-go is going to set you up for greater success down the line. Just coming out valuing yourself, your profession, and not discounting it. No one else, you get a plumber, they don't discount and say, hey, I'll come do your plumbing for free. I think you've used this example before, because if a plumber came and did your work for free, you'd be like, ooh, is my sink is it going to still leak afterward? You'd have questions.
How good could this plumber be if he's not even going to charge me for it?
Right.
Yes, exactly. So value yourself, value your time, and don't be
get a
afraid
second
to
helping of pumpkin pie.
Get a second helping of pumpkin pie. Exactly. That's 100% where I was going to go. So there you have it. You have answers to 5 questions that you might get asked at Thanksgiving. You also now are prepared with exactly what to say. But very quickly, before we sign off, we just want to say happy Thanksgiving. And we are so thankful for all of you, in our CCA students, certainly, but everyone throughout this community. You are all fantastic people. We are so grateful that you listen in, that you leave reviews, that you leave comments, that you come back week after week. It is such a pleasure to create this content for you. And Kate and I are both genuinely grateful for you. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Like what you heard? Hit subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you're ready to take the first step toward becoming a copywriter yourself, sign up for a free video training right here.